like, oh man, get one of those big ass beds with actual mattresses.
It could be awesome.
It could be relief. And V's face will kind of drop, and she kind of realizes exactly, yeah, this is kind of a weird situation because they don't know what they're about to go into. But she's please, hopefully she doesn't ask for anything major, like our wonderful wizard in the tower does. But if she does, then, well, I think I'd be willing enough this time, because this could actually work out in our positive light, wouldn't it?
You're right. It definitely could. So, yeah. I guess I'll see you all in the morning then, when we find out what exactly she's got waiting for us.
So is everyone going to go to bed?
Probably, yeah.
And some of you get sound sleep, some of you are tossing and turning in excitement. And I have to imagine that V is very similar to a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. Hey, wake up, wake up, wake up! At the very crack of dawn.
Jim would like to wake up a little early to visit Piff and Fuff to get a short sword before the others head out.
Jim, when you go over there early in the morning, Foof is out in the forage area working on stuff.
Good morning, Foof.
She looks around. It's too dark and there's fire, so you can't tell if it's just because of that or if she's actually blushing again, but she smiles and she says, "Oh, hello again.
Things go well last night?"
Yes.
Very good, very good.
How was your return?
I'm looking for a short sword.
Oh.
It's alright.
Did you lose one?
I wish to purchase a short sword.
Oh, no, you cannot.
Sort of an offhand weapon.
You cannot purchase a short sword from us. For what you've done for us, it is free. She reaches back and pulls out a beautiful short sword, gleaming edges. So the hilt is wrapped in a brand new red leather. There's a couple of nice looking gems on the very end of it. It's kind of sparkling away. She hands it to you and says, "We will never be able to thank you enough for what you did for us."
Jim smiles. He accepts the sword, gives it a few swings. Oh, this is lovely.
Thank you. I made that one a year and a half ago, and it was perfectly balanced. It's one of those rare times when you make something, I don't know if you've ever created, but every now and then you just get one that just comes out so perfectly, so balanced, and I've been saving it for just the right person.
Well, let's give it a bit of a test run then. 1 second. Jim will stand back. He has the short sword in his offhand. He puts his main hand out, says something in Elvish, and suddenly, Blade of Shadow manifests in his hand. He holds the two blades, swings both, does a few poses, guards, one little twirling spin, and it does this very sort of Geralt and natural flowing movement kind of thing.
That is impressive.
Feels good. Feels familiar. Like I've done this before.
Well, I can certainly say I've never seen anything quite like that before. I'm glad to see my sword is in such good hands.
I shall take the best of care of it, and I think it'll see me through many victories. Jim will seat the blade, dismiss the other one.
Yes, we're going to assume she gave you a sheath as well.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty sheath. It's functional, but also well crafted, and also has the same bluish green jewels.
Okay. With that, he'll thank her and head on back.
All right. Anyone else want to do anything else in the morning?
No, just get some eel pie for breakfast and got a pop bark and wander out with the others.
Eel pie. Straight from Newf & Sons Bakery. just came in.
Sure. Yuna's gonna go to Fifth and Puff.
You're gonna go there as well, okay? Foof is still outside, working away. You don't see any sign of Piff.
Morning, Foof.
Oh, hello.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. Thanks to you.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad. And I should also mention while I don't foresee this happening, in the event that the disease should return, and if we're around, the sages helped me to understand a similar magical ability to the one they used, so I'd be able to heal it all over again if need be.
Well, if it's truly healed, it shouldn't come back, but I do appreciate that. As if we can't be any more in your debt.
Well, yeah, hopefully that scenario will never arise. But there was something that I wanted to ask, and it seems like either one of you or Jim are the only ones I know whom I would ask about something like this.
Now she looks curious.
So you both make weapons. How good are you at using them?
Both who make weapons?
You and Piff, you both make weapons?
Piff doesn't make weapons, no. Just me.
Okay, well, you make weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of experience wielding them?
Well, I suppose I'm proficient at the weapons I make. I have to be in order to know what, would make a good weapon.
I ask because God's forgive me. Well, I can't express how grateful I am to be blessed with the ability to wield the magic of the gods. But I find that the go-tos that I usually use in battle just feel like they're inadequate for helping out my friends. And I don't know how good I would really be with any sort of physical weapon. But if I asked, would you be able and willing to teach me how to fight with a weapon?
Of course. I can teach you what I know.
Thanks for that.
Of course.
I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet, or frankly, if it would be wrong for me to neglect my goddess's gifts. But when I feel ready for it, I'll come back and let you know.
Well, I can't say I know much about how the clerics do their business, but I can tell you during the war I saw many a holy person throwing around hammers and swords with anybody else, so it doesn't seem to me, and again you would know better than I, but it doesn't seem to me that the gods are offended by weapons or anything, so I'm sure you'll be fine.
They were using mundane weapons like everyone else?
Well, sometimes best defense is just a bunch of steel right to the head.
Right. Alright, something for me to consider. Well, thank you.
Of course.
We'll talk another time.
Absolutely. As I told your friend, we are forever in your debt. Whatever you guys need, you just ask.
Thank you. That's very generous of you. Alright, she's gonna head back to the inn to gather people.
Alright. It's early in the morning. The town is beginning to stir. The sun has cracked the eastern horizon and started to spread light around. Anything you guys want to do before you go to Kuntuny's?
Get some extra breakfast to give to Kuntuny as an apology.
Alright. What are you going to get?
Is the menu the same?
Yes. Except now it has tea on it.
Okay, not the tea.
Travis will suggest going to the bakery to get something. One of those tasty bread things.
She'll go over to the bakery, because last I checked, that guy gives out like whole baskets of stuff for like $1 silver.
As you enter the bakery, he looks up, and immediately His expression darkens. You aren't allowed here. Get out.
I'm not.
None of you. You don't.
What did I do?
You think I haven't heard what things you have been saying about me? Get out. Same to you.
She'll
Chirp,
back
by the way.
away. She'll take a few steps back, but then say, "Whatever it is you think I specifically have said about
You're all together.
you,
I don't care what you specifically said. None of you are allowed in here.
You'd refuse a paying customer?
You are no customer of mine.
I mean, we did insult.
As you wish."
Right?
Same thing happened to you when you went in, Terps.
Okay.
We'll just walk out then.
Any different reaction from you, Terps?
No, we're still like, well, that's the way it is. There's usually some truth in rumors.
Do you tell him that?
Yeah, you should say there's usually some truth in rumors. If it's not the truth, then maybe you should come and tell us what is the truth.
He spits across the counter at you. Get out! He doesn't spit on you, just kind of at the ground by your feet, your hooves.
Rude.
Yep, she'll just shrug and walk out. And she'll go to you. I think we should probably do something about his daughter. Because if he was truly innocent, he would be much different.
Well, did insult his pride.
His name has been besmirched, innocent or not.
Is wounded pride more important than a wounded child?
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just because he's pissed. I'm gonna get some bread and cheese for Kuntuny as an apology.
Right, you get that from the inn, I take it?
Yeah.
So you head up the hill. The town's coming awake. People are walking along. Some of them smile and nod at you. Some of them kind of frown at you. Some of them ignore you completely. The kids as well are kind of staring and kind of whispering among themselves. Some of them are kind of following in a distance.
There are other people frowning at us?
Yeah, some of them.
Anybody we recognize?
No, you don't really see anyone that you know of by name.
Well, hopefully our overall reputation is more positive than negative.
We can deal with that another time. Who cares what they think? Let's see if this will actually work out for us. That I'm more concerned about.
So as you're talking, you approach the mansion. It looks much the same as it did before. A bit run down.
Yeah, can you get the door for us?
Rhea shrugs and opens it up.
Well, not even knocking, huh? I see how you are. The door opens as you approach it.
Hello?
You don't see anyone, just the room beyond. It's a very large, grand entrance with chandelier above and lots of furniture that has drapes all over it and a good inch of dust over everything. The chandeliers are not lit. Don't look like they've been lit in a long time. They have the stubs of melted candles in them. If you didn't know better, you'd say no one even lived here.
Step in and call out, Kuntuny?
You hear a voice say, "I'm in the back, come on back."
Dee is going to kind of squirm through and look at all the furniture and chandeliers, kind of muttering, "Oh, dear God, he really was. He really did take a lot of money, didn't he?"
So there's a grand staircase that goes up to the second floor, and there's hallway that leads out of the grand room that you're in towards the back, and other doorways leading off to the sides.
Yo, we're gonna have to hire some maids or something here.
And as you're walking, you hear her say, "Don't open any of the other doors."
Are they going to explode?
You don't get an response to that.
I would go with let's not poke around in the wizard's house. Not yet.
Oh, let's go. And Vic just kind of hustles down the hallway towards the back where she's hearing the voice come from.
You pass numerous doors and other hallways going up off to the sides to places you're not sure where. And finally, there's a doorway open at the very end. You look in and there's relatively small room for such a large building. That's just full of papers and scrolls and a couple of books and other things, cot stuck in a corner and partially eaten food here and there. This looks like it has the door in the far wall. It looks like the only room in the entire place that you've seen so far that actually has been lived in. You see her sitting behind a desk, and she looks up and kind of smiles. Good morning.
Is there any sunlight on her?
No, the room is dark. Just a candlelight and a small light and a fireplace that are kind of the only light in the room. So it's a bit dark.
You don't want to throw some blinds open or something?
She shrugs. If you like.
And we will turn to the others and speak up. We brought you some food if you wanted breakfast or things.
She raises her eyebrows. You can see she doesn't have the hood on this time, so she has really dark hair that's just tied back loosely behind her in kind of a messy ponytail. Finely shaped features, pointed ears. She's clearly an elf of some sort. Still has that dark gray skin, so her eyes have kind of a reddish tint.
Marie gets a look on her face.
Well, that's kind of you. Thank you.
You know, we'll just put the bread and cheese and wine on the desk.
She looks at it and smiles and says, thank you. It was kind of you to think of me. So what do you think of the house?
Well, for one thing, the entranceway is beautiful, but all the doors, what's behind them?
Kitchens, and there's a ballroom and bedrooms. You know, the usual things you would find in a mansion.
Do you not like to use those?
I have no real need for them. I live here because I need somewhere to live. But I don't need all this room. I just need this one space. And that actually is what I wanted to talk to you all about. If you'd like to sit down, I can tell you my story and what I ask of you in return for this house.
Well, before we do that, I must ask one thing.
Mm-hmm.
In any way, are you going to ask to dissect me or take me apart or try to study a life force in any other way?
She frowns a little. Why would I want to do that?
Because literally every other person we've met with any scientific ideas, that is the first thing they ask for.
Granted, all of one.
I've counted possibly 2 or 3.
There are some people I would like to dissect, but you're not one of them.
V just looks so relieved at that information and just casually just flumps into the nearby chair.
Do you know what V is?
No? Should I?
That is curious. Others we've encountered have regarded her with suspicion and assumptions.
She laughs. Well, as you can see, I am no stranger to that kind of response to myself.
Is there not, like, more black elves or something? Is that what she is?
There's a great deal of them, and they're generally not appreciated on the surface.
That's some kind of bullshit.
I do not know what excrement has to do with it, but I don't disagree. As you can see, I am a drow. My people live deep under the earth. I was part of a mighty clan, but in our place where we live, there's all sorts of politics. One family will fight another. There are grudges going back centuries. I won't bore you with the details, but my family was almost completely destroyed by another family, and I was driven to the surface with my son.
Yo, I'm sorry to hear that.
We were allowed to live because I had been forced to marry one of the members of the other family, and the son was his as well. It's the only reason I'm still alive. And they gave me the option I could go to the surface or I could be killed, and I did not want to leave my son without his mother. So we fled to here, or came to this town, and the former mayor's sons, I healed one of them at one point because they had had an accident with a boar. They said, we need a doctor for our father. We'll give you his house. if you look after him. So I did, and I have the house, and I had my son for a while, but then his father came for him, and they took him, and I can't go back down there, because if I go back down there, they will kill me. I have an aunt who is also married into that family, but she's been married into it much longer, and she was not suspected. But she sends me messages from time to time when she can, and tells me how things are going, and tells me how my son is doing. It's the only sort of contact I have with him, and have had with him for years. Well, she told me recently that there's a problem, that something has happened to one of the cisterns that feeds water into the town. A big part of the water supply is dried up, and the city is in danger. And they've sent people to try to find the cause, and none of them have returned. So it is my thought that if I could find the reason why the water is not flowing anymore, and bring it back to the city, that would give me grace enough to return. I would not be able to have any social status. I would be the lowest of the low, but at least I would be near my son, and hopefully be able to see him at least sometime. So that is what I ask of you. Come with me, help me find out what is causing the water problems, help me to fix them, and this house is yours.
Well, I'm down.
She blinks. One down?
I mean, I agree. I'm going to go with that.
Oh, I'm... okay. I appreciate that.
Just to make sure I have this right. So you want us to go to an underground Drow city, find out what's wrong with their...
No, I will go with you. I will guide you. We're not going to the city. I can't go there. But I know how to get to the area where the cistern is, where the water supply is supposed to be coming from. So we can go there without going into the city itself. You'll be in no danger from the city itself. We'll just go to where the water is supposed to be flowing into the city and find out what it is that's causing it not to flow anymore, and fix it.
Am I right in guessing that if for whatever reason we needed to, find an inn or resources or something in the city, even if you were to wait a safe distance, it would still be a problem for us?
She smiles a little. I would not recommend going to the city, no. That probably would not end well for you.
Alright, so we find this underground cistern, we see what's causing the problem, and we fix it if we can, and then you get to be with your son again, and we get the mansion.
That is the deal, yes.
I say we do it. What do the rest of you think?
Yeah, I'm good.
You save town, they might welcome you back at the absolute cast.
Welcome is not the right word, but if I'm known as someone who was able to save the city, I will be allowed to come back. And yes, I will be the lowest caste. I will be living on the street, but at least I will be near my son. And it's certainly better than living up here on the surface. It is much too large up here.
And you're sure that's what you really want? We have access to means. We might be able to get your son back for you, set you up in a different drow town. You might be able to get your goal higher here.
You don't understand our society, and that of no surprise, very, very few outsiders understand the drow society. That would not work. No matter what drow town, as you put it, I went to, I would be recognized. You seem capable, which is why I would like to hire you for this. There is no way you could get my son from where he is. If there were 1,000 of you, you would not be able to.
Is there any other way to not have you at the bottom of your caste?
I don't care about my caste, I just care about seeing my son.
And V just kind of, even with the metal face, like you can tell that this is kind of worrying her. So she adjusts and she sits further forward on her seat, then looks to the other and just continues. In some form, what makes you think that your son would be able to interact with you even at that cast.
He probably wouldn't, but at least I'd be able to see him, to know that he's okay.
Maria
To see for myself.
Maria has feelings about this whole situation.
Anything I can get a glimpse of him is still better than this.
I respect what you were saying, and I am respecting what you were wanting. I feel that we could do better, at least. First, if we are wanting to make this grand departure into what sounds like the insides of the Earth, or your planet, or whichever, the ground, we need time to get ready.
It is not far. It really is not. And it is not a difficult journey. We can be there in 2 hours.
I'm going to explain this. We are not the best at this. I almost got killed by, what was it? What do you call it, a zombie? Yes, a zombie. I nearly died. We've also nearly died by alligators, by everything else, even with all of our magic. We are a little rusty.
Well, if you don't wish to do the job, then that is fine. I will find someone else eventually.
Oh no, that's not it. We just need a couple days to get ready.
That is fine. I've been up here for this many years. A couple more days will do me no harm.
If he will adjust again and put out a hand, I assume that the rest of the group would be more than willing to help with this. In the meantime, until maybe we are ready, whether it be a half day or not, could we by chance take some of the rooms here? I could set up a lab. I could make us weapons, decent things. I could also make you something to protect you. So by the time that you get there, you would be able to see your son.
She smiles a little more deeply. It sounds to me as if you're trying to have your payment before you've done the deed.
In a way, I think it would work for both of us. Seeing as that I could enchant things for you to be able to keep you safe, and perhaps also help you when you are at your cast, not exactly making you move, but to make it easier for you.
Well, I don't use things that would need enchanted, although I do appreciate the idea. And I don't know what you think you could give me that might help me down there. What did you have in mind?
V thinks for a second and then says, well, I think I could give you armor. That would at least keep you safe in case there's any creatures down there.
I have no need of armor.
Okay, what about a weapon?
I have no need of a weapon.
I have this staff, and she'll point to the one she's been carrying her. This gives you shielding. Would that be of something?
I can do that on my own. Unless you have some way where I could communicate with my son, I'm afraid there's not much probably that you can give me.
Wait, did you say something to communicate with your son?
Well, yes. That is the whole purpose of this enterprise.
No. There's something. Would you mind if... Do you have any special items with you by chance that I could look at?
I have... What do you mean by special?
Well, there's also one thing, and I haven't been able to show to the rest of the group.
What's going on?
But no time like the present, I assume. What I can do is, well, depending on the item you give me, I could replicate things. Make duplicates.
Really?
Okay, so what are you trying to duplicate? I'm confused.
We haven't had much use of it. Do you have some type... I don't know if you would have it. Alright, so B will kind of take a moment. She looks around the room and then say to Kuntuny, do you have any paper? It might be easier to be able to draw this out for you.
She motions at all the paper, loose paper, just sitting around the room. Take your pick.
And so B will kind of scramble over, grab a few pieces of paper, and as well as like find a pen or ink and pen to start working with, and she'll slap it across the desk, and you just see like V just all of that like insanity kind of that you've been seeing her go through, the talking and muttering and just it's this wall of information. But also on top of it, there's these little scribbles and little designs of what looks like a stone, and it has this weird inscription, kind of weird design into it, and she duplicates it onto another sheet of paper, almost mirroring it, and draws lines to connect them across the paper. And as she does so, she looks up to Kuntuny and she'll go, okay, one thing that I did see within the mayor's office, and well, I've been trying to figure this out, because unfortunately I don't have the equipment, which is kind of why I've been asking for a lab. There is such a thing that I know about, and it's communication stones. You could talk to someone through them. Not a general conversation, but you'd at least be able to hear something from them.
You see her kind of frozen in place. Is that just one time, or is that more than one time?
I think it's over more than one time. I think it's down to perhaps once a day. I don't know. I need to figure that out. I'm still figuring it out.
And they would be able to respond?
That, I believe so. Like, you could send a message through, and they would be able to hear it. And I'm not sure if they would be able to respond, but you would be able to get a message down through them. And every day you would be able to send a message.
She looks at the papers for a long moment, and then she suddenly stands and says, "Come with me." She starts striding out of the room.
He's going to scramble the papers and just motion for everyone to follow, and it's right on her tail.
Ria's just kind of been taking this all in, but follows along.
Same with you, Nat.
We'll follow along.
Kuntuny goes down the hall to the third door on the left, opens it, and goes through it. And as you get to it, you see stairs going down. It's pitch dark.
One thing that Bee is going to do as they go down these stairs is that she's going to shove the papers that she had into one of her pockets, and she's going to cast the cantrip, Produce Flame. So there's a little bit, at least a little bit of light on the staircases as they go.
Alright, you get down to the bottom, and it's really hard to tell with just that little glow, but the entire basement appears to be a large lab, at least a section of it. There are walls. It's really hard to see details because there's not a lot of light.
V, steady. Steady, V. Stay in control, V.
Will you stop? Do you have any torches? We could light those.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even think of that. In the darkness, you kind of see her wave her hand, and 4 lights pop up around her head and just go to the room and light up the whole place. And you can see it hasn't been used in quite some time, but there's beakers and tubes and metal things and contraptions. Clearly somebody had some sort of lab here at some point. It hasn't been used in a while, and much of the glass is broken, and everything's dusty.
P is still going to be in some wonder, and she'll just slowly walk through and just look over everything, even broken glass, and just through the entire space that she can see, and just, this is a wonderful lab.
I'm glad you like it. How soon can you make these stones?
Well, I haven't done this exactly yet, so you just think. Give me another piece of paper if you have one next to you.
Investigation check.
Alright, this would be a really good time to roll high. And, ooh! 17 plus 5, that is a 22.
Nice. You actually find in a drawer a whole sheaf of unused paper.
Yeah. Alright, so she'll grab that, and again, to everyone else, on the outside of Figgy's head, it's just rapid scribbling and work.
Roll a luck.
Rolling. That's a 9.
Oh darn, you forgot to bring the pen with you.
She just kind of curses. And she's like, okay, please follow me with this. So, technically I could probably do it in a day, but what I would need to do is just would need to have the equipment, be able to work on it, and be able to also figure out the amount of magic that would be applied to. If there is any other item that I could work with, that might be it. Let me think. Like I said, it might take up to a full day for me to be able to recreate it.
Well, as I said, I've been here for years. I can wait, so this is well worth waiting for. You're all welcome to stay here. Just, don't go through any closed doors.
Trust me when I say I could get to this as soon as possible so we can get that to your son.
Of course.
And then V will slowly turn to the rest of the crew. Kind of does a little jazz hand of surprise. I didn't know exactly how to tell you that well, when I said that I needed a lab, I had my reasons.
So what you're saying is you can 3D print magic.
I don't know what that means, but I would assume yes.
V, yes, we knew you had your reasons, and your reasons are awesome. You can make stuff. You can copy stuff. That's amazing.
To be able to replicate them properly is be able to study and research, which unfortunately we haven't had much room for. So V's gonna look to the group and then kind of look to her feet. It's like, well, we at least have a mansion for a night.
Yeah, we have a mansion for a night, and you're even more awesome than before, and then we get to be heroes again. Are V and I the only ones who are thrilled by all this?
I'd be more thrilled if we could actually get Kuntuny and her son back. I think we need to look into more options here.
Yo, rescue mission for the refugees. I'm down.
No, it's not worth your lives. He's in a fortress. You won't be able to rescue him. Just help me to save the city, so I can get down there, and then I can return, and things will be good.
You're letting desperation cloud your thinking. Give us some time, give us some research, let us try to come up with something better. If not, we'll play it your way.
As you wish.
I think this is a good time for us to go get our items then.
My only concern is if it takes too long, someone else may fix the water problem before I can. Well, we can.
Do you know if anybody's tried already?
My aunt says people have gone out and have not returned, but that doesn't mean that will always happen. Eventually they'll send enough that it will definitely be enough.
V, I know a trick for motivating a scientist to guarantee good results, alright? You have 24 hours. Do the... After that, we're going.
Then I suggest that you go get your items. Because I think I should be able to work. And, of course, with the lab here and everything else. Ooh, this would be delightful, wouldn't it? And she'll turn to Kuntuny and say, can we go get our things from the inn? And as soon as I'm back, and I'm practically in non-civic way, all yours, so we can figure this out and might be able to create something for you.
Whatever you need.
The sea is full of perils, ready to tear a fragile ship into pieces in a moment. But fear not, we're here to help. We are the Society of Intrepid Rescuers of Endangered Naval Sojourners, and we give sailors who have gone overboard the attention they need.
A little kiss to help them breathe underwater.
Can't let them spoil.
Seaweed makes a great bandage.
And adds a crispy texture.
Little known fact, squid ink helps with headaches.
And adds flavor. So do not fear to venture out into the ocean. If your ship meets an untimely end from running into a reef or smashing into jagged rocks because the captain was somehow distracted, be sure we'll be there ready to splash into action.
Mommy, can I have the last arm? Shh.
If you all are ready, then we can start on our way. If there's anything else you need to do before we go, now's the time.
only thing I can think to do is to check Frank's for healing potions. That's it.
He may have some. It's hard to tell what he'll have in stock at any one particular time. It changes constantly.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Can anyone think of anything else we should do?
Should we inform the village chief, mayor, whatever he's called?
Are you employed by him? Do you have to report into him?
You know, Lady V was working for him on something, but I suppose we should go tell him that she won't be coming in for work tomorrow because she's disappeared from reality. Because, hey, that's going to be a fun conversation to have. Perhaps just the healing potions, then.
Alright, so you're going over to Frank's?
Yeah, I'd be down.
So you walk in, and Frank, as usual, is sitting behind the desk. He's got his feet up on the desk. And he looks up and says, "Oh, you again. How you doing?"
Yo, what's up, Frankie?
Oh, Frank, one of our people just disappeared from reality. We're going into a planarly unstable area to help some people we don't know because it's the good thing. And I'm depressed about it all. Do you have any healing potions?
Don't have potions right now. I got a necklace that cures disease. Well, I don't think it cures it exactly, but when you're wearing it, you don't have the disease. You just
Thing you can wear around your headular region that prevents disease. If only our world had such a commonly accepted thing that people somehow still refuse to wear because they're idiots.
And Murray is just pats Jim's shoulder. Dude, I know.
Well, since you brought it up, how much is the parapet of health?
let me look at the paper my family gave me. They put here 5,000 gold.
Which, what is that, a fucking Hermes?
I don't know what that is.
It's some guy who makes really fancy shit where I'm from.
Alright. I don't know who made it. I don't even know where they found it. They just dropped it off. Got a couple scrolls. I don't think they're for healing, though. I can't really read them, but you can look at them if you want. If you're looking in Discord, the list is there of the things he has. Kind of just haphazardly sitting along the shelves, kind of like the sword is just leaning against the wall. The armor's kind of plopped down on a table. It's not like really displayed nicely. The lance is stuck sticking halfway across the room because it's so long, so it's stuck. The point's up in a corner, and it goes over his desk and down like right into the middle of the room, kind of in everything's way.
What the fuck is that?
Lance. I don't know why they even bothered. No one has horses right now except for the king, but no one around here is going to be needing that. But you know, they bring what they bring. I don't ask.
Turfs will go and look at the lance, picking up after a little bit.
It feels surprisingly light for something.
And
so
how much
large.
is this? I understand. How much is this spear?
Well, it's a lance, not a spear. But let me look at the paper here. 60,000.
Holy!
I should look at everybody else. That's a lot, isn't it?
60,000 of anything in my time's a lot.
Technically 60,100, but I figured at those prices, what's 100 gold?
What is up with this lance? Why is this lance $60,000?
I don't know.
Like, you know what it does?
No. Stabs things.
It better stab things for me.
Yeah, like, that's like a whole nother person.
Oh no, people actually usually cost less than that. Or they used to when we sold them.
You sell people?
Well, slavery is
Used
illegal
to.
now.
I mean, I did. We didn't. But it happened.
Hasn't been that long. Slavery just became illegal like a year and a half ago. So I'm sure there's still slaves around that people are hiding.
Okay, so that's a project for later. But seriously, do you not have like a note or something about what this thing is? Because now I'm just kind of curious.
I don't know. The family drops them off. They say, here's what they're worth. Sell them. I don't ask. I don't care.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Frank, this is something I've been wondering about you in particular for the longest time. How does your shop actually work? I mean, Sunder is a ruined town in the middle of nowhere. How could anyone who lives in this part of this country possibly ever afford any of this?
They can't. We never sell anything. Well, very rarely. Every now and then someone will come through, or, Mr. Mage down the street comes up and purchases something every now and then. But yeah, you're right. We don't really do much business.
Yes, as I recall, you more just tend to prefer reading stories and not having to do anything else, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, the rest of the family, I mean, they're loaded, so it's not like they just... I think they just were trying to give me something to do to get out of the way, because I didn't want to... I never was helpful at the sites. So they're like, fine, go sit, we'll bring you stuff, sell it, you know.
Huh. Well, I guess it all makes sense in that particular context.
You're a wizard guy, right?
Yeah.
You one of these scrolls, they might come in handy.
I've been looking them over. Unfortunately, of the three, one of them is an ability I can already do, and the other two are for other classes, I believe, and I don't think I can use them directly.
Ah, well. Thought I might have something there for a moment.
Thank you for offering, though.
That's my sales pitch of the week.
So, Kenny, he comes in here often?
Often? No. Every few months.
Do they ever seem to be looking for anything in particular?
No, just says, I think he just gets curious because, you know, the family brings stuff in all the time. So he's just like, what do you got today? Probably a boredom thing for him. I don't know. I never asked.
Gotcha.
Usually buys whatever scrolls I have, though, or one time there was a book he was really interested in, so he got that.
It wasn't called the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, was it?
You know, I couldn't read the language on it. It kept shifting around. I don't know what it was. Pretty freaky, actually.
Bound in some sort of flesh or skin?
No, I think it was just leather. I guess leather is flesh or skin, so sure. Fafa might have some stuff, so you might want to check over there. They have potions all the time.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, Frank. We'll see you around.
Sure.
When to think of it, last time I went potion shopping, it was to Fafa's.
Well, no dice there. So, I'm ready when the rest of you are.
And Kuntuny says, well, if you wanted dice, I thought I saw some in the other shop.
It's a figure of speech where we're from. It means I wasn't able to get what I wanted.
Oh. You people have some of the oddest figures of speech. All right.
They do, don't they?
Some say Turks is nodding. Mm-hmm.
Well, no time like the present then. So...
yeah, let's get going.
So Kuntuny leads the way out of Sunder and turns left. The path that you just took to come back home, crosses the river over the bridge, passes the road that would have led to Kellen, and then in those broken hills that were between Kimu and Sunder and the reason you had to take the road all the way around it, she abruptly turns into there, and you wind through the hills, and it's about 3 in the afternoon. You come through the treacherous ground, the loose stone. It makes each step a tenuous proposition, and jagged protrusions tear at your clothes and skin. It takes most of the day to travel the mere 5 miles into the unforgiving terrain. I forgot I had this written down. And by the time you reach your destination, everyone has at least a couple of scratches on their arms or legs. The ground flattens before you, and you can see the entrance to the mine. So Kuntuny stops at a hill that's overlooking it, and she says, all right, this is it. Now, it's been infested by kobolds, so I have no interest in fighting an entire clan of them. So if we can just get through as quickly as possible, that would be best for everyone. You all see movement near the entrance to the mine, and you can see 2 dog-like lizards. They look kind of like a mixture between lizards and dogs that are just kind of standing bored, each on one side of the entrance.
So these logs, are they accompanied by anything?
Logs?
Lizards, dogs.
Not as far as you can tell. Do you see any?
I don't know. Sorry.
They're kobolds. Do you know what those are, right? Oh, that's right.
Well...
that's
they look like they're lizard people. Very small lizard people.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they look like. We got that up.
That would be a kobold.
How many?
2 so
I'm
far.
seeing 2.
Well, we can kill them really quick. And hope there's not a bunch more right in the entrance.
Do we know that they'll be hostile at first sight?
Well, yes, they'll assume that we're here to attack their home, which we kind of are, but not really. But they're little more than animals. They really can't be reasoned with. If you want to kill them, we can try distracting them in some way.
Do they speak the common tongue?
No. They just yip.
Why don't you see if you can communicate with them, tell them that we mean them no harm?
This isn't going to work.
We could give them some of the little sparkly jingling things that, everything seems to like if they let us just go away or go where we need to go.
Yeah, I kind of like what Terps has got going on there.
You're going to try to bribe them to let you into their home? I don't think.
Jim looks to Kuntuny. Look, let me explain how this works. It's a moral thing. We try to do all of the token peaceful options, and when they don't work, we kill everything. It's just how we're wired. Don't worry about it.
I understand that you don't want to kill them. I'm suggesting distraction to get them going in a different direction, perhaps, might work better than trying to bribe them, because that probably won't work.
Can we throw the little sparklies in a way that they see them fall and go after them?
Can I roll to see how much that mountain may know about them?
Yes, you can roll with advantage for history. 12. So you have a basic understanding of what they are. They usually live in mountains and kind of stick together. They're generally hostile towards outsiders, not incredibly intelligent. You've had dealings with them before, but usually people just see them more as pests, kind of like very large rats than anything else.
What I'm thinking is that if we go for the bribe, we may end up having to give out a lot more bribes. If Maria can speak their language and she can get them to just go along with us and vouch for the others, that could make things a lot smoother. If we distract them, similarly to the bribe, we're still going to have to do something about all the ones that are waiting inside.
While your large metalish friend isn't here, perhaps we could be sneaky? I don't know. How are you people at not being seen?
The large pink orc just turns and looks at them.
And
the elephant in plate armor.
Slither around.
I don't think that's gonna work, Kuntuny. We're a centaur, a pink giant, and me.
I thought him quietly. And then, of course, Terps is going to go into Leon form.
Fair enough, but still. Maria, if you feel comfortable with talking to them, go ahead. Otherwise, Ina's going to pick up a rock and cast the light cantrip on it.
Terps, you got those shinies?
Terps a whole lot, her bag of money.
We could just have Mountain throw a shiny rock instead of throwing our money away.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Ina's gonna give the glowing rock to Mountain. If you wouldn't mind throwing that past them, and let's see what they do.
You throw the rock, and it lands over on the other side of them, sort of where the other wall is. The second one goes, huh? And goes after it. But the first one's kind of looking around, trying to figure out where it came from.
Okay, it's working. Anybody got another light? I can only have one up at a time.
I was going to send a message to the one that's still standing there, telling him he better go help his friend because he's in trouble. But I can't speak his language, but you can if you tell me how to say it.
That's a really good idea.
Yes. Okay, so Maria will try to tell Terps how to say whatever needs to be said in Draconic.
Terps, give me a persuasion check with disadvantage. You see the other kobold suddenly jump and look around, and then look after his friend and then go hurrying after him. Kuntuny says, quickly. And she starts running as quietly as she can towards the entrance.
Alright, let's go. Yuna's gonna follow after her.
Everybody rushes forward, and the two kobolds are over there looking at the shiny rock, and now they're fighting over it because it looks really pretty to them. And so everybody makes it inside the mine without apparently them noticing.